Okay, so we are live. Welcome to the Marketing Dojo Day 2. Yesterday, we covered some basics. I will recap those about what marketing really is and why it can be aligned to your values. So you may actually fucking do some basics today. We are hosted by Steve and Yolanda. Give us a wave, guys. You may recognize them from the conference. They are very capable. And we've also been joined by Erica today. So Erica is one of my students who has a completely different personality for me, a different gender that I haven't checked because she's my student and that would be unethical. And there's a different stage in her sort of career. She's kind of beginning, but you know, she's learned a lot about this marketing stuff. Erica, do you want to say hello?
Yeah, hi everyone. Yeah, as Mark said, I'm probably the opposite of him on the main personality tests. For context, I launched my business in May, so I'm still at the beginning stages after a history in human rights, social work. Yeah, so I'm sort of just ahead of you guys and learned a lot, like Mark said, here to share what I know.
Oh my God, she's nice. We've brought a nice person along just to balance me out. So occasionally, if you want a point of view from someone different, we can bring Erica in as well. She's going to back me up. And should my Wi-Fi drop, she will heroically take over as someone who's been my student for a few years. She should be able to do that. So should we take a deep breath together? Start with some of that embodiment shit. Okay, breathing out. Breathing in together. And breathing out. Breathing in all the good stuff you're going to get in the next 42 minutes. Breathing out all the bullshit. Okay, welcome. So a few ground rules. It's being recorded, so bear that in mind. If you ask questions, people here are here live, and you know, it's not totally confidential like my normal trainings. Other things to consider: I will swear and make bad jokes. Okay. I've had a very big breakfast burrito today, so I'm feeling happy. And when I'm happy, I'm normally naughty. Look, anyone want to see my burrito, baby? That's my breakfast burrito. Is like English breakfast in the burrito. I think I found literally the best thing in the world. Okay, so I'm happy. I just want to give my best stuff to you, having had a breakfast burrito. I'm grateful to the universe. We're going to review some stuff from yesterday. There will be silliness. If you're someone who's easily offended, leave now. Okay, go back to Portland where you belong. Okay. So that's just kind of, I don't want anyone getting upset and writing letters because then Steve will have to delete them like he always does. Okay. So this is going to be crazy fucking useful for you guys if you have a small business, if you want to get better at marketing, crazy useful. We're going to recap the stuff from yesterday because that's so important. I know a lot of people came new in because everyone came yesterday. I got bombarded with messages yesterday. All the pretty yoga teachers telling me that I look really charismatic and nice in blue. Thank you. I've worn the same t-shirt again, so I smell, but you can't actually see that. So I appreciate all the nice messages. It seemed like everyone had a really good time and learned a lot in a very short space of time. We're going to review that reframe of what marketing is and isn't, because you have to sort of brainwash yourself. You have to hear it 2 or 3 times until you go, oh yeah, I've got a lot of conditioning to undo. Right, Erica? You've been through that process with me?
Yep, absolutely. Needing to, and it's amazing how it shifts. It is amazing how it shifts. I was rewatching yesterday's and thinking, gosh, you can really change this stuff, you know? Yeah.
This free course, we're going to look at the mindset stuff. In the paid course, is much more on strategies around like marketing strategies, deeper into the psychology. Obviously, we're just touching the surface here, but that basic shift that Erica referred to there is something we can do this week. That's something you can get. And once you make that basic shift, marketing is fun and you want to do it. Can you even imagine that? Like we did a somatic exercise yesterday where we asked everyone to say the word money or marketing out loud in their first language. I'd like everyone to do that again. Notice people who were here yesterday, if there's more or less contraction. People who are new today, you'll probably notice a contraction. So say money or marketing out loud in your first language. Whatever, sales you could say. Most people contract when they say that. If you're not sure, contrast it with the name of someone you love. Okay, I could say Daria or Jessica, and I say money. It's almost the same for me. Yeah, a little bit different, not perfect, a little bit different, but there's been a big shift. Okay, so today we're also going to look at niching, how to find what you love, what you do. Erica can talk a little bit about her journey maybe, and it's going to be pretty fast and furious today. So you can always watch the recordings. If English isn't your first language, you can ask me to slow down. Just ask in the comments. I won't mind. I am fully caffeinated and excited about the topic. Yeah. Okay, so to review, can marketing feel good? There's a question there I got, I think, from Tad Hargrave. Another way of putting that, can we do marketing which is aligned with our values? So there's a cat if you still feel bad about saying marketing. Okay, so my answer is yes. My answer is definitely yes. And like Erica and Steve, I've moved many students through that transition. So I know it's not just me. It was a transition. Like, I was raised to think of money as bad, as business people as bad. I was in martial arts and non-profit sector. And, you know, the first time I put on a suit, which is bottom right there, I just felt totally out of place. You know, I still don't like to wear a suit, but it was like I had to rearrange my identity almost, right? And then I realized, like, to do things like FEC or EFC or Embodied Yoga Principles or the conference, a lot of you know, or to get my book out there in the world. Who's read the book? Anyone read the book? Second one is out now. We're going to start publicizing that soon. 2 books now. To get that stuff out there in the world, I needed to get over my shit. Okay. So there's something here about taking responsibility, saying to yourself, this is my baggage, this is my crap, and I choose to take responsibility for that. Now, that is a process. There's good days, there's bad days, but the basic shift can happen pretty quickly once you make this distinction. So you say to yourself, what is bad marketing? What is Sith marketing, to use the Star Wars analogy? What is the sort of stuff I don't want to do? And yesterday, people said things like, oh, inauthentic, lies, pushiness, making people feel bad, selling from fear. Great, you put all that to one side. And then the good news is you don't have to do that. Okay, this is the good news. You can market in a way which is play, which is fun, which feels good. I was just today, I just saw we uploaded a YouTube video and a podcast. Anyone a podcast fan? Podcast fans, give me a wave. Give us a review on iTunes. Any podcast fans, yeah, and YouTube fans. And I watched back this video that I did with my colleagues, and we were just having fun. We were just playing all the way through. And they're my friends. They're people I like hanging out with. It was Miles and Mel from New York and John from London. And I was like, wow, this is my marketing. And I enjoy it. Yeah, not only that, but it's a gift to the world. Like, that video is totally free. So anyone who's broke can watch it. Anyone who just doesn't yet trust me can watch it. That's fine, right? That's super in line with my values about making this stuff accessible. Why do I want to make ethical marketing accessible? Because it's empowering. Like, Erica and I were talking about this a while back, but we both come from fairly working class communities. And in those communities, it's taboo to talk about money. Rich people are assholes. And Erica, that's pretty disempowering, right, Erica? I mean, we talked about this before, but I'd love to give people your take on this.
Yeah, I think the frame we were talking about was just not being educated around this stuff. So 2 things, like, yeah, rich people are bad, immoral, to be like turn your nose up at, which then counterintuitively means that poor people are good, and we all want to be good, right? So to be a good person, you need to stay poor. You also need to not take up too much space, not assert yourself. You want to stay in the pack. You don't want to be seen, you know. Yeah, I could also talk about some stuff around, you know.
Niceness, that's your topic, right? And there's some gendered stuff there, which maybe I'm not subject to, but is in the mix for people. And ultimately, some of this stuff can come around worth, you know, am I worth anything? It can come around identity. It can be culture is a big part of it. I've been talking to some Mexican people I know about this in Mexico. There's all sorts of stuff in the mix. The good news is there's something we can do about it. Yeah.
And that marketing can actually be healing of some of those things. We'll come to that, I'm sure, at some point.
Right. It can itself become a spiritual practice, which sounds ridiculous. But then I say to people, okay, what about non-attachment? Mm-hmm. Right? Like, the idea right now, we're giving something for free, which I think will be of great value. And you are in no way obliged to buy our stuff afterwards. Like there's a non-attachment and a generosity, like dana, they call it in Buddhism, which Eric and I both have that background, of being able to give freely without attachment to the outcome, which until you're enlightened is very hard. Okay, because part of me is going, you know what, I still hope they buy the product on the page below, and even though I'm giving some good free stuff, I kind of want them to. And it's like, no, let go of that, because if I have that energy, it will feel creepy to everyone. Does that make sense?
And what about knowing you're enough, whether the thing sells or not? What about not attaching your value as a human being to your sales?
Right. So it's can I give my gift? Can I do the thing I want to do? Put it out there, people buy it or not, without that meaning I'm a bad person if it goes wrong, or I'm fucking amazing king of the world if it goes right, which is the other mistake to make, right? To tie your value to either a failure or success. So that to me is the spiritual practice of marketing. One of them, there's another one, which is deep listening. So listening and empathy, I would say, is a key marketing skill. Another one is creativity. And the third one Erica's alluded to is courage, is this ability to be seen. Erica, do you want to say a sentence or two on that? Just we are tight today, but I don't know, you can be spacious, but like, how is it to be courageous?
Absolutely. So I'm sure most of you here, because you're in heart-based, heart-centered businesses, there's a niceness, which is what I work with, and that's also aligned with smallness. Yeah, it's like, and every time you need to be visible and be seen, our nervous systems aren't quite ready for it, or tell us to stay small, to stay safe, to stay in the pack. So that's why this is also an embodiment course, right? Because there's an embodiment tied to taking up space, being visible, being seen. Yeah, so it's like, until our nervous systems are ready for that, we can't really do it. So yeah.
And in the paid course, that's one of the things I have time to go more into, is different embodiment exercises, even stuff on like intergenerational trauma and culture and gender that you know we don't have time for in this. Okay, so the basic reframe is you're just telling people about you have a sandwich. You're just telling people how you can meet their needs. That's all marketing is. And you heard this yesterday, it's worth hearing again. All marketing is saying, here's how I can help you. You're hungry? Great. I have a sandwich. Would you like a sandwich? Yeah. What we're going to look at today is, what kind of sandwich? That's what we're going to look at today with niching. Basic idea here is not only marketing is not evil, marketing is love. Letting people know how you can help them, being playful, being empathic, being creative, but most of all, connecting with people so you can serve them. Business is at heart is around service. If you're serving people, you can make money. It is as simple as that. Why are you here? Because in some way it's a service to you to be here. Yeah. I even went so far as to say not marketing is evil. Again, this might sound crazy, but if you had a sandwich and you weren't telling people about it, doesn't that make you a bit of a git? I would say so. So this is a basic reframe about what marketing is. You know, I would say take away one of these perspectives. So we have, you know, the life skills perspective. It's like Erica said, you just weren't taught this, but you can learn it. Okay, not a big deal. Align it with your values. You can make it a spiritual practice. You can make it play. You can be, you know, make it a practice of bravery. You can call it love. We talked about the fit. So not everyone here is a fit for me or for Erica. And if you're a fit for me, you're probably not a fit for Erica, and vice versa. That doesn't make either of us bad people. We just have, I would say, a different audience. We will come to that. So maybe in the chat, could you put like, which is your favorite perspective? You can choose that. You can write it on your wall. You can print out a picture of a sandwich and put it there. You can take this as your tantra if you're into that. Which of these works for you? Because I find for different students, slightly different ones work for them. See what people are saying in the chat. Which of those are you kind of drawn to? The fit, the life skill, marketing is play, marketing is love. I mean, they're all different sides of the same thing, basically, but it's different ways to think about it. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I'm going to recap that pretty much every time this week because it's so important, and you need to kind of recondition yourself around this. Yeah. All right. So let's go back to thinking about sandwiches. What kind of sandwich do you want to offer? So, Erica, what's your style when it comes to teaching embodiment?
Soulful, watery, poetic, I don't know, tender,
Empathic.
empathic,
What's my style, Erica?
fierce, yang, funny. I'm quite funny. I can be quite funny too.
We've got some shared crossover there. Everyone thinks they're funny, though, to be fair.
Yeah.
So, which of us is right? Is Erica a broken version of me, or am I a broken version of Erica? Do you see how shit this question is? Right? So many of you are thinking you're broken versions of someone else out there, Tony Robbins or your favorite yoga teacher, or I don't know, someone maybe you admire. Like I admire Erica. I think she admires me, though she probably wouldn't admit it. You know, we can find either whether it's our heroes or our teachers. You know, I've known aikido students who speak, aikido teachers who speak with a Japanese accent because they're impersonating their teachers. That's crazy. They're like English dudes, right? Like that's crazy. We don't have to impersonate our teachers in that way. So this is part of what I'm talking about when I say, what's your sandwich like? There are students here who would absolutely hate Erica's courses and students here who would absolutely hate my courses. It's not a good fit. So when we talk about niching, that is how you pronounce it. If there's any Americans out there, you're wrong. We want our colony back. You clearly can't handle it. You're making a mess of it. We're putting the queen back in charge. It's not pronounced niching, okay? It's from the French for the word for nest, and it's pronounced niche, okay? That's what we're talking about today. It is a French word, yes, from the word nest. You see, I am educated, enchanté, no problem. Okay, are there French people here? Okay, don't say anything mean about the French. It's so difficult. All right. So, by the way, that's how we end racism as a society. We all just agree to hate the French, and then it's all okay. There's no more racism ever again. That's my solution. No, I like the French. Don't worry, I used to live there. So, niching, nesting, whatever it is. What I suggest you all do is get one. Why? Why would you want a niche? Why would you not try and be all things to all people? Whether you're a yoga teacher, a therapist, whatever. Why would you want some kind of a niche? And Erica's been through this process. Okay, lots and lots of reasons coming up. Lots and lots of reasons coming up. Direction and clarity. You fit, exactly. So we're back to the fit. So let me put it another way. Let's imagine you're going to a hairdresser, yeah? And my favorite kind of hairdresser would be called shut the fuck up hairdresser. And here's how it would work. I would walk in, I would say in one sentence what I want. There would be no more questions. The hairdresser would then shut the fuck up and I would get a haircut. Okay? That would be my ideal hairdresser. Yolanda, what would be your ideal hairdresser?
I'd want them to chat with me and be able to plait sparkles into my hair, maybe give me a bit of a head massage, you know, be nice and friendly.
Do you want muscly man with tattoos hairdresser?
Yeah, I'd take that.
You take that. Okay. Erica, what's your favorite hairdresser?
A mix, halfway between the two. I don't like to be talked to too much. I do like a very good head massage, and I like a little bit of chit chat. And then
don't massage my head. That's not what I'm paying you for. Just for cutting the hair. Okay, so I would pay not to have that stuff that Yolanda was talking about. Okay, I would walk across town to avoid that stuff. I would pay double to be in shut the fuck up hairdresser. Okay. I would pay double not to have like someone like massaging and touching me. I just cut my hair. Okay. So the niche is something we're willing to pay for. Also, we tell our friends about. So if I have another friend who I know doesn't like chatting when he goes to the hairdresser, I would actively tell that person. Yeah. Also, the hairdresser can optimize for that kind of customer. Yeah. So in my hairdresser, they can turn the music off, for example. They can make sure they're in a quiet location. They can have things that fit that vibe. Whereas in Yolanda's, it's going to be a different vibe. By trying to please everyone, and this relates to what Erica said earlier on, you please no one. Make sense? Like, here's another way of thinking about it. Trust. Would you trust a florist that was also a butcher's and a hairdresser? Of course you wouldn't. That would be weird, right? I don't want steaks being chopped up next to the flower. I don't know why. I just don't like it. Some of you would. There's probably some hipster business in Brooklyn like that, okay? That's a very hipster thing to do, isn't it? To combine like a coffee shop with a bicycle repair shop or something. So unless there's a really good reason to combine, you could be, for example, a meditation and yoga teacher, because that, it goes together pretty well. You're not antagonizing your audience too badly. So niching can be thought of as that. You can think of it in terms of style, like me and Erica were talking about, but that's just one component. There's two, maybe even more important ones, okay? I should mention Tad Hargrave when it comes to niching, who's taught me a lot about this stuff. Maybe someone could write his name. The problem you solve and who you do that for. So Erica helps women who are too nice. I am not a woman and I'm not too nice. Therefore, I know for a fact I'm not Erica's customer. I'm not going to waste her time. Okay? I'm not going to mess around with that. Erica has been able to optimize her website around this. So her website's Your Right to Be. You can have a look at it. Maybe someone could put it in the chat. And it's very different from the website of COVID Calm that I optimized for doctors. It's very different from the website for Embodied Yoga Principles, where we optimize for a certain kind of yogi. This is all about turning people off. So good marketing is polarizing. You want to find out early if you're a good fit or not. So I hear it's for women who are too nice. I go, well, that's not me. But here's the cool thing. I immediately think of someone who's good for Erica's course. Just give me a wave. Who can think of someone who knows someone who's a woman that's too nice? Who knows someone who's a woman that's too nice? It's clear, right? You're like, I know someone, right? Also, her branding is like, how would you describe Erica? Like slightly hippie, but not too hippie?
Yeah, exactly. Like woo adjacent.
Woo adjacent. I like it. It's like next to the crystal shop, not in the crystal shop.
But not the crystal shop.
Not in the crystal shop, but next to it, in the same like neighborhood. Yeah. Okay. So that's implicit in her choice of colors. She has, see her website, there's these like nice pastel colors. I don't do pastels. Okay. So I do look quite good in a pink shirt, but I don't do pastels. Whereas Erica does great pastels. It's the choice of word. Give me some Erica words that you use when you talk to your audience. Like, what's a phraseology you might use?
Well, I often send poetry in with my emails. It's a sort of soulful, I'm going for a sort of soulful, rich, kind of deep, meaningful kind of vibe, like this is about important stuff, rich stuff, yeah. Deep
and rich and quite gentle as well, right? You're not you don't insult French people on your things. You're not abrasive like me. I don't really hate the French. So my thing would be like provocative, abrasive, but actually we're both polarizing, right? So those of you who are like nice people like Erica, I'm sorry, here's the bad news. You can't get out of not being everyone's favorite. Right? You can't be everyone's favorite. You just can't be. Think of like someone you fall in love with. Because, in a way, kind of like good marketing is a romance, right? Like not everyone would have fallen in love with my wife. Okay. Most people wouldn't have got through the first hurdle because she's fucking brutal, right? She filters for men who are anything less than strong. It's like first date with her, she's just going to insult you. Yeah. Like it's just, she's not everyone's cup of tea, even if I think she's the most beautiful woman in the whole world. Make sense? Yeah, the same with your business. And I don't know if Steve's gone through this or Erica, you've gone through this. There's this feeling of like, I want to be all things to all people. I don't want to pick. And sometimes it comes from I don't want to limit myself. Like I like lots of things, which is fair enough, but it's like, yeah, but you can still get known for one. That's what niche is. It's what I think this is a tag thing as well, what you're known in the community for. So it's like, for example, most of you don't know this, I am really into World War II history, okay? I actually know a lot, particularly about the Battle of Stalingrad. But you don't know me for that. You don't need to know me for that. I don't sell that. That's just my hobby, okay? So I'm into Warhammer 40k, which is a fantasy game with orcs and space elves and things like that. You don't need to know that. That's not my niche. I can have many hobbies, many interests, but what you know me for is the embodiment teacher who does ethical marketing. Yeah. So it's good to be known for something. That way people can say you're their go-to person. You're the person they think of. Like yoga's a brilliant example of this, right? Yoga's got so many great niches now. Heavy metal yoga, much as you might think it's silly, there's some people who love that, right? It's like, who here's a yoga teacher? Any yoga teachers? Amy, what kind of yoga do you do? Tell me in one sentence or less. So unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Yes, sorry. A vinyasa and hatha mix.
I don't care. Tell me, like that's the style of yoga she does.
Oh, okay.
So who's it for and what problem does it solve? Let's come back to those two things.
It's for anybody who needs some time out from their lives.
Okay. Anybody's not great. Would you sleep with anyone?
No, but I don't only have people in my class who I'd sleep with.
No, but there are people in your class who you choose, select to spend time with.
Yes, except for anybody is welcome into my class. I don't veto them.
You could be a fascist, but who do you love working with?
Probably people like me, mums, busy lives.
Busy mums.
Yeah.
Okay. And who do you best serve? Because this isn't about being nasty and saying, well, dudes can't come in, it's just for mums. Go away.
Yeah. Well, probably them because I understand them. I understand what their needs are.
Boom. Absolutely. You understand their needs so you can help them better. I don't understand what it's like to be a mum. If I did a yoga class for mums, I'd be shit at it. I'd be like, when you're like breastfeeding it, I wouldn't know what to say. I don't know what language they use. I wouldn't be able to empathize with them, but you would.
Yeah.
So your niche is the people you love serving and you're good at serving. That's it. So who's your yoga class for, Amy?
It's for mums like me.
Okay, great. Now, you said this is a yoga class to stop busy mums killing their children.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Right? To stop busy mums strangling their husbands. If you said that, that's so much more compelling.
Okay.
It's a vinyasa class for everyone.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
And I now know, thank you, Amy, that was a bit brutal. I didn't really.
That's all right, you put me on the spot.
I hope that was okay. I kind of was hoping we were okay there. It seems like we were. Check in with me if it wasn't. Thank you, Amy. A round of applause for Amy. Give us some sparkly love. Amy just did like a 30-second niching fucking adventure, right? But what I did with Amy, you can all do at home. So it's really very simple. So who do you love working with? And who are you good at working with? So niching is this combination of passion and skill. Yeah. Now, some people say, what about money? It's like, well, if you're serving people, you will be able to make money. Okay. Even if you have to, like things I said yesterday, scale it or get someone else to pay or, whatever it is, Robin Hood model, whatever. It's not just what you like. Some people say, well, I like eating chocolate. Well, it's like, yeah, I like blowjobs. So what? Like, your niche is what serves others. It's not just what you enjoy. Does that make sense? So Amy has to love serving that group and she can be good at serving that group. Now she's the empathy and the fact that she knows that group is really helpful. I spoke to a coach today who coached in Silicon Valley. He worked for 5 years in Google and 5 years in Facebook. He's an expert coach for slightly Asperger's executives from tech companies in California. Okay. So that's his niche. I talked to him and I was like, I'm not a good fit for you. It was really clear. And he was, honest enough to say, you know what, you're not, but if you meet these kind of people, please put them my way. So as a coach, exactly the same. So it's who could you be great at working with? Yeah. So let's take marketing. I teach marketing, right? I'm an embodiment teacher, but I've developed this second niche, if you will, for teaching marketing. I'm not for everyone. I'm not for people that have already done an MBA. I'm not for people that are maybe, I don't know, working in a company already. But if you're like a self-employed experienced yoga teacher, you almost certainly will get a lot of benefit from my marketing course, right? And I know that not because like I'm arrogant, but because I've helped those people in the past, right? It's like Erica is here. She is evident. She has been helped by this, right? Steve too. So it's not based on fantasy. It's based on feedback. It's based on people saying, I really enjoyed it. I got a lot from it. It's based on them like coming back to Amy's class. So while Amy doesn't have to like put up a sign saying no guys allowed in her class, right? If it's the mums who keep coming back because she speaks their language, why not niche into that? And I do get this fear of like, yeah, but won't that scare other people off? No, they can still come. They're still welcome, but it's going to massively attract people who are more your kind of people. Yeah. Now, in a crowded market like yoga and coaching, you have to do that. Also, think of the problem you solve as well. This is really key. My yoga class is great because it's for fitness and it helps you relax and it's spiritual. Oh, really? All of that? I mean, okay, my yoga class is great because it helps people get to sleep who have insomnia, which is a better niche. Lauren O'Han, my friend from Miami, we were just hanging out in Miami, nice lifestyle in Miami, having oysters by the beach. And Lauren O'Han has a Facebook group with 50,000 women who have pelvic floor issues postnatal. Okay, as she put it, I do yoga for women who wet their pants after having babies. Right now, I don't know anything about that, right? Like I couldn't possibly speak to that concern. But she'll discuss prolapses with you. People send her pictures of things I don't even want to look at. She's a real expert in that. And she's built a group of 50,000 people on Facebook. And I won't say how much money she makes, but enough, let's say. She lives pretty well in Miami, let's put it that way, which she was paying for the oysters. Based on that, what to me sounds like a hyper niche. But it turns out there are millions of women out there. Millions of women out there that have those issues. I was like, wow, shit, I'm finding this out. Maybe am I ignorant, Erica? Do I just not know shit? Or is it there's maybe a lot of shame around it? I don't know. But that's just an example of a hyper niche, right? So Erica's women who are too nice is another thing that you might go, well, that's not many people. It's millions of people. You want to chip in here, Erica?
Yeah, I would say, in fact, I'm in the process of niching even further down from that. So women who are too nice is probably my wider niche, and then it's like, okay, who specifically within that are too nice? So there's definitely a strand of coaches and therapists and women wanting to sort of transition out of corporate careers. So there's something, I saw a question come up saying, is it normal that niching takes time? And I would say yes. It's sort of you come into your niche and you can niche down smaller and smaller.
Yeah, Tad talks about the niching cycle where you try things and see if it works, then you try something else, and you get more and more select within that. So that's something that I've done over the years as well. And I tell you, for me, picking embodiment, it doesn't sound like a niche, but at the time it was a niche for me. It was like a narrowing of my interests. Like now I just get associated with that word. If you put embodiment into YouTube or into podcast or into Amazon, my name comes up. Like getting known, like I get introduced on podcasts of it's Mr. Embodiment. I kind of get a bit embarrassed by that because there's so many embodiment teachers. But for me, the benefit of niching has been financial, but also just like I get to be around my peeps. And someone there is asking about minority groups or exclusivity. It's not about demographics with me, right? It's not about women or men or this ethnicity or that ethnicity, but it's about a value set. Okay, it's about, now you could niche around, I don't know, yoga for people in wheelchairs, great niche right there, yeah. But you could all equally niche around a flavor, a style. Like I want to be around people who aren't offended by my jokes, so I can be myself. Like for me, authentic expression it's not just important. It's like I wouldn't want to live without it. I've got gay friends in Russia where being gay is really tough, and they still tell people they're gay because authentic self-expression is so important to them that they risk violence for it, right? It's because they don't want to fucking pretend to their mum that they've got a boyfriend when they've got a girlfriend. They don't want to. So they have the fucking, that's courage, but it's also that we have this basic human value. I get a bit emotional. We get this basic human value to be ourselves. I don't want to try and be all things to all people. I don't want to try and jump through hoops. I want to be myself, and I want my marketing to be fucking honest. And it can only be honest if I'm talking to my people. Does that make sense? And I don't mean, 41-year-old white British guys. I mean, people that have the values that I have, people that are interested in the topics I'm interested in. So that's why it's important. It's so you can live your fucking life as you, and you'll make more money, and you'll have more fun doing it. So, for me, that's why niching it's about being courageous to be yourself as much as anything. Yeah, and there's a leap of faith where you go, I'm going to have less customers, and you never do. You have more customers. Yeah, so this is why niching matters. I didn't think I'd get emotional, Erica. You're the one who's meant to cry, not me.
Yeah, I feel emotional. I felt emotional watching yesterday's session back, actually. I would say particularly for this audience, that's a really strong message, because I imagine a lot of the people on this call are like heart-centered, people. And it's like, that's a really big lesson, is like to be more and more yourself. That's my journey. That's my lesson. Like, how can I be more and more myself and show up in the world like that? And having a business, again, comes back to spiritual aspect of marketing, I think.
Absolutely. Someone said it's all about authenticity, about being yourself, about courage. I mean, we're hitting the same thing from different angles today. So just the takeaways from today, then, remember, niche is the problem you solve. Okay? It's the style you do it, the how. It's not so much about the methodology, like do you use Reiki or Vinyasa or whatever. No one really cares. Okay? I do coaching when we do small group work. Oh, by the way, if you buy the thing, we decided the product, which is down below if you're on the video. If you buy it before tomorrow, you're going to have access to a small group with me. So it's probably going to only be about 20 people who buy it at this point. Most people buy at the end when we rise the price, we double the price. But we wanted to have an opportunity for people to buy it early. I can't get to all the questions, but if anyone buys it within the next 2 days, today or tomorrow, you'll get access to a small group. So you can ask all these questions and say, how does that apply to dolphin chakra Reiki healing or whatever? And I can give very specific answers to your questions. So that is one of the benefits of buying early. So good. Yeah, lots more in the paid course on this. I should probably share. I've been told by my marketing guy to share what else is in the course that we're not doing. I tend to just get carried away and start just being generous, which is part of what makes this work, but it's also not entirely smart. So let me bring this up. Okay, God, I even forget how much it is. It's like 10 hours of content we've got in there. Where is it? There we are. Okay, so stuff we have done, stuff we haven't done. The inner journey, the mindset stuff is mostly what we're doing this week. There's loads more on that about the taboo of money, families and money. Erica talk about this in depth, don't we? Like our families and our cultures. And I've had conversations. I talked to a Mexican-American friend of mine. There's like ethnic stuff in there, gender stuff, all sorts of stuff. The money mindset stuff is advanced, looking at trauma, looking at responsibility on there. Loads of exercises we don't have time for on the quick fire stuff this week. So really getting to your beliefs around money, how to rewrite that, looking at how you use words around money. Lots of somatic exercises. Like, let me give a couple now just to be general sense. Like, there's things like when you get money from an ATM or take change from someone, notice what you do in your body. So many people stop breathing or tightening up. Yeah, that's just one example of some of the exercises we do there. Loads of embodiment stuff, obviously. A really simple one about embodiment exercises, centering when you ask for money. Maybe we'll practice that tomorrow or the next day, centering when you ask about money. That's a really important one. And yeah, that's just the inner journey. What we're not covering on the other side of things, this is more in depth. What we've done is the outer stuff of different models about marketing, more about finding your niche, exercises for that, ways to do that. Because as Erica said, it is a bit of a process. I've seen it takes most people about a year, if I'm honest. Like most of the students I've trained, it takes about a year. They can learn the theory of niching in a day, but it takes about a year of work. And that's where I think having groups and, groups like you get with this, like the Facebook group and the calls with me really helps. That it's not just a one shot. I mean, Amy was incredibly quick there, by the way. That I don't know if we just got lucky or if Amy was under pressure, but that was shit hot. Like Amy was like right there. But even with her, we'd have to talk it through and work it out, and then fears would come up for her, and we'd have to, go through a process. And there's more stuff we'll go through another time, but loads more on the course. Obviously, the free stuff, we're giving away a lot, but there's lots we won't be able to fit in. So it's down below if you're watching on YouTube or in the link. And as I said, anyone who buys it today or tomorrow is going to get access to a small group with me, because I'm guessing most people won't buy it until we double the price, which is going to be next week. So it's half price for now. Cool. We've still got time for a couple of questions then. Someone said, if I bought Embodiment Marcher Coast, do I get this included? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. That was part of the package you bought. Question from YouTube. Hello to YouTube. Does money play a part in people liking your services? Oh, this is a really good question. Okay. Yes. So people value more what they pay for more. There's a really interesting psychological study where people get identical glasses of wine, and they say one is like from £1,000 bottle and one is from a $50 bottle. They're the same wine. And people genuinely enjoy the more expensive one more. It's even to the point where if you put it in a more expensive glass, people enjoy it more. And they'll swear that it's a different wine when it's literally the same wine. One of the reasons you should buy the marketing course if you want to make shifts in this area is so that you fucking do it, right? This is really interesting psychology. So I was recently given access to Eckhart Yoga. Anyone know Eckhart Yoga? Really good yoga platform. They gave me free access because we're talking about maybe doing a deal or whatever, doing some kind of collaboration. And I met Esha on my podcast. She's lovely, really like her classes. I've done all of about 3 classes in 2 months because they gave it to me for free. Okay. Now, was I paying £1,000 for that? I would have done a lot more than 3 classes. It's just something people do. Like, they value things they pay for. I think it's one reason people buy courses is that it motivates them to actually do the work. I mean, you could, and if you don't have $500, here's what I recommend if you don't have $500. Go through my podcasts, listen to all the podcasts with George Cow and Tad Hargrave. Go through my YouTube, look at all the free videos on marketing. Make a mastermind group with other people. That will cost you nothing, with other yoga teachers. You know, reach out to different teachers, download a free ebook from some of the people I recommended. You could do all that and get a shitload of knowledge about ethical marketing. I'm not the only person in the world who teaches it. George Cal, Tad Hargrave, 2 I've already mentioned. Okay, here's the thing. If you don't pay for it, you probably won't bother. Just one of those things. So one reason I think you could actually say to yourself, I'm going to pay for this ethical marketing course, is, as well as getting content that I don't make publicly available, is so you could actually do the bloody thing. Yeah. So great question. It sounds weird, but tell me if it meets your experience. That matches my experience. Yeah. Cool. Good. Accountability buddy. Yeah, they're brilliant if you can do it. Yeah, George has given bonuses for this course too. George is great. You know, it's funny, there actually aren't that many people in the ethical marketing space. I can recommend Julia Chanteray, George Cow, Mark Silver. There's a few, but there's not many. It's not many. Like, I don't know about you, but when I first started coming across marketing, most of the books I read made me want to puke. Right? Like, I read the book, I just feel like, it'd be like, this is how you manipulate people into doing what you want. I'm like, are you evil? Are you just a terrible person? Like, that's not how to live. So, yeah, there's a few people I recommend. If you don't like me, there's a few others out there. There are a few. George is the super soft version of me. He gives bonuses on our course, but he's an inspiration. He's a good friend of mine, but he's much more the Erica end of the spectrum. If you can't handle listening to me for 10 hours. I listen to George in the bath. He's so relaxing. Cool. I think we are good. We're on time. So thank you so much, everyone. Remember, if you're watching on YouTube, the things below, if you want to get in on the special group and get half price. Hope you've got some value from today. Remember that stuff on niching, what problem you solve, who you solve it for, and what is your personal style for doing that. They are the 3 things. It can be a journey, but I hope that gives you a bit of niching. Tomorrow, Steve, what's on the menu tomorrow? What am I teaching tomorrow? Remind me.
Yolanda?
Sorry, I just totally thrown this at you. Hang on. I've got it coming up. Is it social media tomorrow? What is it?
That might be Thursday. I'm sick.
Or is it copywriting? Oh, this is so rubbish. I should have really thought about this in advance. Oh my God, I'm on the wrong page. Ethical marketing / coach. That's where I should be to look at it. Okay, well, tomorrow there's going to be more goodies. I think I'm doing social media tomorrow. If not, it's copywriting or the other way around. Social media is super useful, using that usefully, not just wasting it. Okay, marketing, right. So how to write stuff that actually works as opposed to the normal blah, blah, blah drivel I see on coaching and yoga websites. So then it's social media the next day. Good. Thank you, Erica. Can we give Erica some love for helping us out today, for dropping in, Yolanda and Steve, and give yourselves a pat on the back for, actually, let me say this more sincerely. I want to connect to this. Like, you made time to learn about something which is you probably weren't taught at school, which isn't easy, which can make you feel like, I'm such an idiot, I don't know this, and I've got so much to learn, and it can be scary, and it can be not easy. So I like sincerely say well done to yourself for making 45 minutes today, and I hope I see you tomorrow. Bye. Yeah, I like that, Oshani. I like that. Yeah. Should we do the unmute everyone?
Hi, everyone.
Bye.
Hi.
Bye.
Bye.